Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the LJL OU Mars Swan Colorcaster Initialize Play-by-Play Caster. Welcome back to the Cast Initialize, and we've got a Detonation Focus Me double bill. It feels good to be back home in the LJL.
It really does. And this should be an interesting matchup because don't get me wrong, DFM are favoured on paper, but DFM are favoured on paper against every team in the LJL right now. We have been very excited to see what this new super roster can do, even if it is with a kind of substitute coach, former pro player who's having to step in at the support role for now, which of course makes things a little awkward. That said, Arya, Ebby, Steel, some of these guys have been pulling off some very exciting games, and I'm curious to see what CGA can do, considering they too haven't looked bad and are sitting fairly pretty here at a 2-1 record as we sit.
Yeah, absolutely. They're currently sitting here 2-1. If they can get a win over DFM, well, that would be huge. That would put DFM to a place of, well, 2-1, and they have to then beat the Hawks to then actually not have it not going perfect though early on in this split would be a huge disappointment to Detonation FocusMe. Obviously, they are looking to at least match their last spring, or was it summer, where they had 9 or 10 wins in a row.
Yeah. Remember, summer was really rough for a very long time, of course.
That's right. Yeah, it was spring, right, where they had the crazy long streak, and then V3 and summer had the match the streak of 9 wins. And can they beat that? Can they go all the way to week 5 and get perfect wins halfway at least through Super Week? I think they could do it. This squad is just that good on paper, but obviously coming into this match, Kasin was obviously a huge rookie that's coming in, big shoes to fill onto the side of Crest Gaming Act, and maybe they can start solving the jungle problem similar to TSM's-esque jungle problem. But it seems to be working. They've also got Nap still on the team, still playing the weak side, but he's been doing this for ages. And Nehyang obviously has filled in for the shoes of Arya, who they're actually going to be playing against in this match.
Yeah, of course, this is Arya against his former team, and I'm sure CGA would love to get some vengeance in here. But to do that, they've got to survive bot lane, which might be a little easier than against Gango and NT, because of course, while Utapon is a monstrous AD carry, make no mistake, he's paired up with Kazu, who has had some slightly unfortunate engages where he's been a little ahead of his team, even if actually he's also been not like a complete weakness either. That said, no. I also kind of wouldn't mind turning our eyes a little towards this top side, because Nap in that last game had a great Camille performance, and Cassin and Nathan really helped set him up, and Ebby is a fantastic laner, but he is also known to occasionally, particularly in summer, overdo his engages, overdo his laning. He can play a bit of that old school SKT Marin role where he just shoves up. He just plays for pressure in lane, and that can get you in trouble. And maybe, just maybe, there's a world where CGA can at least contest in the top half of the map.
I would definitely agree. Ebby does not always subscribe to the freezing mentality that is the early agreed analysis point of, hey, just prevent your opponent from getting advantages. You maximize your advantage and maximize the effectiveness of your opponent's disadvantage. Now, Ebby's just like, I'm just going to throw wave, go mid, try and do something. I'm playmaker, I'm Ebby. And actually something that I saw on an interview that we, I believe got translated was they were doing mic checks.
Oh, really?
And they went Ebby, and Ebby went here, and Steel, here. And they went Arya, and he went he went mid Ebby. Yes, I'm here. I'm Ebby mid. It's like, that's how important Ebby is to the team. Like, it's so much of the, like, brings the glue together. But like, Ebby's had the Japanese tournament, he's had the Ebby Invitational. Like, he loves the Japanese community. And I think Arya, as we already saw, Arya tried to help the Japanese community, especially when they went to Worlds. We saw V3, we heard a lot from the backroom that Arya was doing a huge amount. And this is a player who honestly got their start in the LJL. If it wasn't for Crest Gaming Act, his former team, who knows? Arya never even got to the Kesper Cup level. His team didn't quite make it out of the qualifier to get you into the Kesper. But now look at him. He's classed in our eyes, and I mean, I think most people in our Discord would agree, best mid laner.
Yeah, he's been pretty phenomenal. He's also been pulling out some of these picks he's never really had space to do before. He is able to go towards things like the Orianna. Finally gets to pull out his
Which we like never see.
Partly because, yes, you can play the control mage, but he doesn't have to have these crazy lane dominant performances as he used to. He can still play a little bit safer because he does have the likes of Steel, Ebby, Utapon, who can do some of the heavy lifting for him. He doesn't have to run Vladimir and still play crazy up in lane or pull off some of these ridiculous Stylus performances. Not that we don't doubt he could do that still, but it's still going to be a relatively interesting matchup, I think, because I think Nation has actually been a very strong laner. Cassin as well has already pulled out Prowler's Claw Rek'Sai today, and they've definitely got a few tricks up their sleeves, but they're going to have a few if they want to take on DFM.
Well, if they're going to have a few tricks up their sleeves, I definitely want to see it. And honestly, Initialize, I think it's about time to go to that pick and ban phase. So why don't we go over and see what these teams do?
Absolutely, Mass Swan, and that means we have Detonation FocusMe at 2-0 over on the blue side, with Ebby, Steel, Aria, Utapon, and Kazu remaining their roster. No substitutes as yet.
Absolutely, and over for Crest Gaming Out, we've got Nap, Cassin, Nehang, Milan from the scouting grounds, and Alchemy as their support.
Absolutely, and they are sitting at 2-1 CG, looking pretty good as we've been saying, and a few bans have come through. Twisted Fate and Pantheon are the bans here. Clearly means they don't want to first pick themselves. Nation's already had a pretty good Twisted Fate game and don't want to give that away. Kai'Sa and Lilia are the bans for CGA right now. We'll see whether this continues to be the kind of focus. Some of these AP junglers, a little bit of something away from Utapon. Kai'Sa very, very strong right now. Renekton as well taken off the board, preventing anything like that Renekton-Nidalee duo.
Worth noting is that last week they had 100% ban, Detonation FocusMe did, of Galio, but obviously this time they're not facing Ace, they're not facing Recap, which is going to probably be playing a different pool. Neixiang, as we already identified, is probably going to want to have more of a carry performance, so it'll be important to see. And the Seraphine. Now, is that a mid Seraphine? Is that a Utapon Seraphine? Or is that a Kazu Seraphine? But, oh my god. Okay,
right.
Steel.
Alright, so Seraphine is banned, but it's the first pick, Udyr. That's what they wanted. The man who wears far too many costumes is ready to run rampant with bear stats, and I am ready to scream flash bear slap at any given opportunity.
So this is actually technically the first Udyr we saw fully in the LJL. Hoglet technically for us gets the first Udyr that we saw because he got to play in our live coverage yesterday. But Steel actually getting the technicality of first one coming out as we get a Gragas, which could be obviously played support and top, and this so that's a flex between mid or bot, right? Yeah. So we haven't been seeing a huge amount of Lucian
a shy move, but I wouldn't recommend it.
I'm not the shy. Nap is definitely not the shy. I would not recommend it as we see this Gnar get locked in. Interesting coordination. I'm never huge fans of Udyr and Gnar lanes because I just always think Gnar has such a weak early game. But I guess it is going to depend if it is this Gragas going topside as the Gnar is locked in.
Like, Gnar is a lane bully, don't get me wrong. But into melee champions, like, he gets to bully them. The hyperbox are great against them, especially if he can keep his distance and trade back. But there are counters available. We've seen them. Irelia, definitely, I think you can do. Camille, not a bad choice either. And see what CJ want to look towards. They're thinking of this Talia, which, of course, has not gotten pick or ban right now. It would be Udyr into Talia, which definitely can get a bit scary. But instead, Cassin thinking perhaps about locking in something a little different, and they'll lock in the Misfortune instead. They don't want it banned away, and Milan really wants his hand on that. Has played it a number of times. It feels like it's the comfort pick, and that does mean it's Lucian likely going towards the mid lane.
It's really interesting that that Milan keeps going back to this Misfortune. In Scouting Grounds, we saw them playing a lot of Jhin, and Jhin is still very strong in the metagame at the moment. And actually, against the comp that Detonation FocusMe is setting up, I can understand why they want to go for Misfortune. Let's be real, Mega Gnar wants to get near you, and if you can set up around choke points with the Udyr and everything else, this is great for your team comp at the moment. The Misfortune ultimate could potentially go across multiple members. You're not doing so much of a pick comp, especially with this Lucian, which has to be going mid now, by the way. This Talia getting banned from DFM, showing that they actually think this Gragas won't be going into the jungle, which is
unlikely at the minute, in fairness. I mean,
not too surprising, because he's commonly sees play top and bot support, right?
Yeah, he definitely does. And of course, you definitely have tools to bully a ranged Nara if you can get the body slam and the cask to set up for a gank for somebody. So I can see the opportunity there. And DFM do want to get rid of the Talir and the likes. Anyway, they'll get rid of the Elise as well, who's another one of those top dive champions. So those two critical ones are off the table. But of course, Nidalee is still available, and that might give Cassim
as is
the choice to go towards.
Rek'Sai,
Yeah,
as is in
Rek'Sai.
Zhao. So like, Cassim can play a bunch of stuff. I don't really know if banning the Talia or Elise is actually worthwhile. They don't even do necessarily what this comp wants to do. So I'm not a huge fan of these bans, as we're seeing. Galio, okay.
So Galio will be going likely down towards this bot lane, so it'll probably be the Misfortune Galio that we've already seen out of Milan and Alchemy would be in my imagination, but DFM have got to pick up a bot lane themselves, so I'm curious as to what they pair towards. Things like Rel are still available, as are the Alistar. Frankly, most of the support pool is around and about. There's not been a lot of focus towards it, and I suppose Kazu, as one of these substitute player, or as this substitute player, perhaps not given as much thought or focus by CJ because they think they can deal with whatever he pulls out. And it will be the Rel, which has been at points incredibly strong around the world.
Yeah, Rel is definitely quickly coming up the ranks, and a lot of supports, just a lot of analysts in general, are starting to unlock more and more potential out of this champion. Upon her first week in competitive play, everyone was like, I think she's good, but we don't quite understand when and where we need to play her. The more time players are getting in with this champion, the more it's coming in as we get the Xayah. So we're going to have Rel Xayah, which is an interesting pairing. But the Aphelios has already been banned out, which is a very common one you want to tie with it, as well as that Kai'Sa. So it makes total sense. Feathers Fly, great at disengaging, especially when there's a Misfortune, a Galio coming around, oh, yeah, actually, just with everything. The Camille now that's come in, and this Gragas, which I imagine is going jungle.
It will be the jungle.
Whoa.
As we said, yeah, not likely to happen. They've gone to it anyway, which was, I suppose, it was always a flex opportunity. They've decided to go for it, and Gragas plus Camille is definitely a combo you can look to blow people up with. Body slam plus hookshot's a lot of CC. Only got to be careful about knocking your enemy out of the Hex Deck ultimation, which would be a little bit of anti-synergy, but they do have Camille Galio as a very deadly combo, and it also probably means that Utapon picking up the Xayah, it's pretty good self-sufficiency, right? Especially if you're not sure about where Kazu's going to be, how confident he is about playing the game as he wants. This does give some room for basically for the gosh, I can do this. For Utapon to kind of play by himself, even if the support is in a bit of trouble or roaming around the map, I guess. You know, Xayah with the Featherstorm, with the Blade Caller, can definitely find a lot of safety for herself.
Oh, there's so much she could do. There's a huge amount of safety. I mean, with Ebby as well on this Gnar, with the Rel, as you were mentioning, Arya playing this Orianna. There we go. I can actually remember it. I was like, in my head, I was like, I know the champion. Then in my head, you know, the first player that popped into my head when I was trying to think of the name, Toys.
Oh,
Orianna
that's
and
an old
Toys.
school reference. Yes, it's season 2 again. And TPA of
yes,
just won Worlds.
Yeah, and his Orianna is like burned into my brain. Like I will never not remember him playing Orianna, and then me immediately go, I'm gonna play a game of Orianna, and promptly not understanding at all how the ball placement worked and getting very frustrated with myself. But it's okay, as we've got a game here. We've got Arya playing this Orianna, and personally, I actually prefer DFM's comp. It's relatively straightforward to play, honestly, because let's think about it. Arya's going to have great ball placement. Steel can't mess any of this up, and let's be real, Steel rarely messes up jungling, full stop. Utapon has got disengage whenever he needs it. Kazu can protect him and basically be the front line for the team with Steel, go in and just tank everything. And Ebby, well, we knew Ebby was playing Gnar when he wasn't meta. The fact that Gnar is in meta, it just means Ebby must be happy as Larry at the moment that his favorite champion, the champion he's known for. This is like Karma being good in the... Oh, wait, Karma is good now. Why aren't we seeing Syros play a game of mid? Yeah, come on. I want to see Karma mid. Come on. Come on, Moonstone Renewer. Come on.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Oh, dear. Don't encourage this. Don't encourage this.
Come on. Everybody wants to see at least one Syros game playing Karma ever since he did that highlights at World.
I mean, what I will say, of course, is on the other side for CGA, Camille Galio is a fabulous combo. Camille Galio plus
So
culling,
good.
plus bullet time, plus a Gragas, full combo with the explosive cask and the like, is a lot of burst. You can definitely see how that combo wants to work. You can get the picks, you can get the detonation on them, no pun intended. And we'll kind of have to wait and see whether that actually does work out that way. But yes, DFM, obvious synergy. Kazu goes in, gets the Magnet Storm down. It's easy setup for the biggest shockwave of your life for Arya.
It really is. And go for it.
There's not that much frontline for the side of CGA. There's a Gragas, effectively. And, the Galio's not bad, but it's a support Galio, so it's not as perfect as you would like.
No, you're playing it far more for the CC.
We'll see how it actually plays out in game. All right, onto the Rift we understand how both of these comps want to work, and likely both of these comps probably want to play towards this top side. Udyr and Gragas will definitely want to get their respective top laners ahead or defend what's going on. Lucian into Orianna has definitely been a matchup we've seen before. And you can sort of see that CGA really want to get this top side of the map rolling. It certainly worked in the last game. They got off to a massive snowball, and they'll have to see whether they can do the same against DFM and whether they can hold on to such a lead if they even manage to find it.
This is Predator Gragas.
Whew.
Wow. Okay,
right,
so this is good. This is going to be a game where Kassin, if they don't get their laners into an early lead, it's going to fall further and further behind. And the reason for this is, while Lucian is going to have great scaling, his positioning is going to be so important. And DetonatioN is facing against Arya, who knows how to play this matchup better than anyone, because Arya was the only man, if I'm remembering rightly, and I can be totally proven wrong by chat here, I'm happy to be proven wrong, I think he was the only person to play a Lucian mid last season. In the LJL.
I don't know whether Dasher might have pulled it out, because I know he had it banned against him a lot. So there's a possible shout for that.
Yeah, that's a fair shout.
And I wonder whether Ramone possibly could have done it as well. He's done it this year, but there's a couple people I would wonder, have these guys might have done it? And I have a vague memory of someone like possibly Pyrion doing it as well, actually, so we'll find out.
Oh, yeah, Pyrion can play everything and anything, couldn't he?
But yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Partly, of course, that Arya was the most notorious for it, and he's done it before. He knows how the matchup works, I am sure. But the AI bot is definitely giving a fairly hefty advantage over to DFM right now. Blitzcrank-san in his sort of like skinned wonders. I forgot the name. It's I Blitzcrank, isn't it? That's the name. But actually, Kazu and Alchemy fighting out early on. And Kazu sure to fall down as here comes Kassin as well. We'll have to talk about drafts later on. First blood goes the way of CGA, and it goes the way of Milan. Kassin comes in with a fantastic early gank and lots of summoners burned, and we wonder whether Kazu could end up in a spot of bother, and he does very early on into this game.
Yeah, that is backbreaking for the side of DFM to face. Kazu going down super early. Obviously, Utapol's going to be able to find a way of farming. Even if he was under his turret and 3 members were there, he'd still find a way to do it, because this is the man that is trying to do anything and everything. However, that is just going to put so much pressure on the side of DetonatioN FocusMe to find an opportunity elsewhere on the map. What's important to note, Steel is about to already finish his first jungle clear. We're just like 3 minutes 10 into this game, and he's already done, and he can find an opportunity as we come into this replay. And let's find out how this actually went super bad. So obviously the knockdown came over. Kazu is super deep over into the side of CGA, but they're able to get effective trading, and Milan is able to try and do something. And at the moment, it's favorable DetonatioN FocusMe. The difference is they don't have a ward on here, and now we get to see Gragas coming in. They already start doing this whole fight, and Kazu gets taken out really low because level advantage came out for CGA slightly early on. And because of that, they knew they couldn't escape. We had to see Utapon use both his flash and heal. And everything just went the way Crest came out won it. They got the 2v2, they won the 2v2, and then they knew that, and Utapon knew he couldn't fight back any further, because guess what? Kassin was here on this Gragas.
Yeah, and that's really frustrating, of course, because Kazu actually got a really good early trade onto Milan, and then just oversteps, and Alchemy gets the taunt into walking behind him for the easy Justice Punch as well. Definitely a bit of an overstep there from the sort of sub-player for DFM. You can kind of see some of the weaknesses there. Of course, he's not really the intended starter come summer and stuff. Remember, this guy is primarily a coach these days. He's not a pro player anymore. He's been a coach for quite some time.
He hung his boots up.
Yeah, and it has at least given Steel a significant advantage in farm and the likes. He's still got camps on his bot side to clear up, which will keep Cassie a little ways behind because he did try to go for their gank and he didn't get involved, so that will be a bit of a frustration for him. But all things said and done, it's a slight gold lead of about 400 of that first blood over to CGA. It's over to Milan, of all people, as well, who's had a rough time of it thus far in the LJL. But this is a great start for him to try and prove that he is worthy of being an LJL starter.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've got a quick little fun fact for you here, initialized while we have a lull moment. No mid laner actually won playing Lucian mid last season at all. Both spring. There were 3 games. Oh.
Abby getting ganked on. Hasn't Flash yet, looking for the hot possibly. Needs to be very careful. Flash is the other way, trying to buy time. Steel coming in as well. They're looking for the hook shot. It's in range with the Flash after from Nap. And now Steel probably has to back out. And it's 2-0 for CGA very, very early on. Double Flash for the 1 Flash, so a fairly significant investment, but they do get the kill. Cullen coming out of the forces Arya to Flash. Flashing in, he's looking for the kill, actually, and he just gets it. Good lord, I thought it was over. I left space for you to come back in, and Nation just gets the solo kill on Arya. Huge. That is a kill in every single lane.
That is a kill in every lane. That is a solo kill on Arya. This is the player that no one could solo kill. Not even Pyrion last split really was able to contend enough to get a solo kill onto Arya. Oh, apparently we needed Nation coming in, huge plays on the Lucian, really showing off the mechanics, preventing auto cancels from happening, because that is a thing when you are starting to learn Lucian. You will auto cancel so often. No, he can whip them around perfectly, blend them between each other as if nothing ever happened. And let's come into this replay and see how Kassin and Nap did this beautifully. Obviously, Predator was popped, waiting for ages Kassin to not use the knock-up until, Nap was actually in range. And from this point, he's already dead. Ebby's already as good as dead, and Steel is going to try and come in, do a bit of slapping, but it doesn't matter. Naehyung, so he's going to wait.
Oh, he gets level 6 first.
That's it, yeah. Forces the Flash, pushes this wave in just a little bit further, or to try and bait Arya in. Flash, 1-2 dash, 1-2-1. Wow, he also reset because of the passive on there from Lucian 3 times. That was really well done.
Yeah. It was obviously he gets to level 6 first. He gets to get the health bar down. And then that flash after to secure the kill, knowing there was no summoners, nothing else to keep him alive. Really well played there, of course. It does leave them up about 1,500 gold. And Arya is in a lot of trouble here. Good sidestep on the body slam. Now trying to back away. Gets actually out of that gank. Arya with the fancy feet.
And that is just Arya having fancy feet. Also, the fact that Kassin didn't have the ultimate there on Gragas. I think if the ultimate on Gragas was there, I think we would have had a dead Arya, even with the shockwave being used to pull him back in. Well, not to really, I guess, blow him back in. But robots don't like blowing up so much. Yeah, exactly. The point still stands. Bearman hasn't had much of an impact. And Steel, you've been doing a lot of early clearing. You've been doing a lot to get you into the farm and CS category. And Kassin has only got 1 successful gank off, but that successful gank has really thrown Crest Gaming Act in all lanes ahead, which is exactly what they need. So now the laners are fine. Kassin can focus on farming.
He can. He's going to have to. He was down 2 levels before that gank came in. Steel has certainly done a good job of getting his own farm numbers up, but it has left a bit of an awkward spot. It's actually Casu. Crashes down over the wall to throw a shattering strike and prevent Nation's back, which is kind of nice, especially because Arya actually had to have 2 awkward backs, obviously 1 from
Arya's prevented it back as well.
Yeah, and then obviously that does keep Nation in lane when he really wants to go back and spend some of that gold, especially with where he's at. All the while, though, CGA getting a fair amount of plates down to this bot side. They've gone for the lane swap of DFM. They've got the Herald and inventory as well, so they're trading turret plates around the map and looking to try and find some advantages back into this game where they can. They have brought it back a couple 100 gold, but CGA still up a fair amount here in this early game.
I imagine we're going to see the side of DFM still pushing this top lane for a fair bit longer. I think this is what they're planning to do. Ebby's already being sent down to this bot side, and as we can see, with Steel's pathing at the moment, we just saw a ping where, I'm going down here. Steel's probably going to path towards this bot side and once he's already got this top
Mm.
side down, he's got the Rift Herald, it's getting spawned, and now, yeah, he's going to just do this and then work his way bot side, because guess what's coming up in a minute 50? It's going to be a Cloud Drake, and he wants to get set up for that first before he can steal some of Crest Gaming Act's jungle farm, and they just have to kind of accept that, and that's what's really important. Look at where Kassin is. He's having to do this jungle clear so delayed, and he's losing his own jungle because Steel's able to get ahead in this, because he prioritized doing this, and yes, they're not able to get a second hit, but they got first tower, and this is what's brought DFM in gold back into this game.
Yeah, they are back to even. Milan did get 4 plate spots. That's great for the Miss Fortune. That was all solo as well, so definitely a stronger game from Milan, and he's going to get to be able to back up and get a lot of those items once he gets that recall off, unless Cassie managed to interrupt it again, but no, it doesn't happen. Picks up the pickaxe, pretty close towards that first item Gale Force, and Steel and Cassin just fighting over some chickens there. We've got about a minute to that Cloud Drake you alluded to, and DFM recovering relatively well from a strong early game from CGA, where DetonatioN gets the solo kill, Cassin and Nap get some great stuff going on the top side, and obviously, as we mentioned before, Kazu overstepping a bit, and Alchemy getting a great punish with the Taunt into Justice Punch, and it does leave us at a very even space coming into this Cloud Drake, and we'll see how it all plays out. You can see the gold here, pretty even between Utapon and Milan. That'll be first turret, kind of evening up the first blood between Utapon and Milan. But it's mid lane where there is a slight advantage towards DetonatioN, and a jungle where there is a slight advantage really towards Steel.
And that's really important. Utapon now getting in that Gale Force. So any advantage that Milan and Alchemy, as you already mentioned, that bot lane advantage of getting that first blood it doesn't amount to anything now. It's actually kind of nullified, and at this point, Milan's going to need to back out, but they haven't backed. This dragon's coming up, and DetonatioN FocusMe, from an item perspective, is actually now ahead of the CGA. It's going to be important coming into this next dragon fight, as it is going to be a Cloud Drake spawning. Ocean already down, so Crest Gaming Out would love to get this, because either Infernal or Mountain Rift is great for this roster.
What we have to mention, though, is Ebby is not here yet. He's still on the top river, so DFM are at the man disadvantage. Even if they had that item advantage, meant they had to give it up. Ebby shoved out that wave, and they will give up second Drake. It's going to be an Infernal Rift again here in the LJL. And DFM kind of had a look in, but realized, yeah, we can't get Ebby down here. We want to get him shoving that out and causing some chaos. Or at least causing some pressure, perhaps not quite chaos at this point. And they didn't have the teleport either, so just had to give it up, unfortunately.
Yeah, and what's actually worth noting is when
Milan, there's the magnet field as well. Milan flashing out. Good route from Alchemy with the taunt. Feathers coming out, trying to buy time. Flash away from Milan. Heal as well. Exhaust from Alchemy. That's a decent gank. Now DetonatioN in trouble. Gets slowed down. Gets smited. Gets shockwave out onto this Lucian, who's culling as best he can, but a command attack will secure the kill. Cassin looking to get something in. The Predator's there. Steel steps forward, finds the root, flashing away to get away from the explosive cask. Not enough damage this early, and command protect with the last of Arya's mana keeps Steel alive, and they get the kill in mid. That was so well played.
That was really well played, and important to note. If they didn't turtle stance into command protect, I'm guarantee you Steel would have died. If both of them hadn't pressed those buttons, which honestly for Steel isn't particularly hard, it's press your W key and just hope you don't die, and Arya does everything else. But hey, I'm an idiot player. I know it's just clicking buttons, and that's why we're actually starting to see a lot of these junglers, the really good ones that just understand how to play a fight. They know how to do it so well. Steel completely out of vision. They know this. DetonatioN has to try and dash away, but immediately throwing down the summoner smite, because hey, if he's slowed, he can't get away. I'll be able to stun him. We'll be able to get that. And now Cassin comes in, tries with the Predator Proc, gets Steel really low. Command protect comes out with the turtle stance coming down at the same time, procking over. Beautifully done by DFM, and that really does actually put them now in the gold advantage lead. We are going to be on an Earth Rift, I believe. Oh no, it's Infernal.
It is
so
Infernal again.
This is really good for Crest Gaming Act, because even though DFM have found their way back into this game through gold, through farming of Steel, preventing the side of Cassin getting those early leads, he's just got the I can't talk today. I actually can't. I have a complete inability to talk, initialized. I don't know.
So, I mean, as I think you were trying to say, is of course you're looking at those mythic items and you're going, Steel has decided that he is a fan of Need for Speed, the number 3, the Tokyo Drift, because he's pulled himself out a NOS tank, named the Turbo Chem Tank, in fact. And he is ready to join Vin Diesel and crew in speeding through the streets of Tokyo.
Great film, by the way. Great film.
Great. I occasionally go back and listen to like Teriyaki Boys, which is probably not.
Oh, me too.
But that track is just very entertaining. Great loop. Either way, we have seen a new deal now at Mach 10 available to start running at your nearest convenience, and DFM will walk over to the second herald. They got a lot of value out of the first one, and they're hoping to get some more value out of the second. Ebby as well is quite happy to start split pushing away. He's actually managed to get himself up to a decent CS advantage over this Camille, but she has just completed her Trinity Force, so definitely getting scary there. And look at that plate discrepancy in favor of DFM. That's what pulled them back into this game. It's dead even really right now, though, so the next couple of fights, particularly around this Infernal Drake, which would put CG up to Infernal Soul, could be big. And the culling comes out, and it's on to Utapon, and the crash down pulls Kazu out from blocking, so Utapon dies. What was that?
Oh my god, double kill coming out with, well, not a double kill, but 2 kills coming out for the side of Crest Gaming out. Milan juggling this perfectly. Kazu, just what was that, mate? Yes, I understand. You're confused as well. We're a little bit stunned that that kind of operated in that way. And now a favor that I was giving hugely over to the side of DFM is now actually in Crest Gaming Act's favor. They will both be up for this dragon. They still do have the Rift Herald, so DFM will be able to apply pressure. But that just went completely the opposite way that we expect to do this as we come into this replay. So Utapon gets completely destroyed by the culling.
Kazu down! Why,
oh my god!
Why? You had the shield! Oh, he jumps too far forward and leaves Utapon for dead. And Utapon's like, I don't want to burn my summon. He's got a dragon fight coming up. Just stay in front of me. And Kazu just jumps out in front of him, lets Utapon die, and then he dies as well. It's a complete disaster, and you are definitely seeing some of the problems here about bringing Kazu in a little bit. That's a real misstep there. And Nation gladly pockets 2 kills, and this Lucian is a very, very dangerous customer right now. He's even got the culling back up. The teleport will be coming in, I believe, from Ebby, because it's Infernal Drake and something DFM want to play. They've got onto Nation, though. Utapon is going to force Nation back. The shockwave is massive onto Milan. There is the hero's entrance, but it is too late. Milan is dead already, had no flash, had no chance. DFM summoned the Herald, got the man advantage. Nation as well with no culling will mean that DFM get to move into the river with all the pressure in the world.
Yeah, they're just going to make sure this Rift Herald gets the first hit on. They're going to just walk it in, let it die, and now they got a huge amount of turret damage. They also still have that number advantage, and Steel is going to just escort Ebby around, make sure, hey, we've got backup, we've got numbers. They have to just kind of sit here, and what's the best they can get on this map? Well, they can do a bit of Dragon, and they can push in top a bit, and oh, okay, well, that's not too bad. It's a consolation of 70 gold, I guess, over to Krogus, but hey, Infernal Drake, and one of maybe many or maybe few, depending on Crest Gaming Act. Obviously, remember, DFM coming into that did have the Rift Herald.
Oh, great flash out for Steel to prevent the Justice Punch coming in. That's what you get for only being a snap taunt from Alchemy. You only get stunned for a brief moment, even without the Mercury Treads there, Steel. More than able to get out, but it will be a summoner down, but it's also flash out from Alchemy. Cass in here will get spotted by a smart use of the command attack. But looks like CGA wants to come in and start fighting. DFM back away, don't want to fight that. Ebby, though, shoving in this bot side, doing what Ebby does on Nar, which is split push away, heedless of everything else on the map.
Absolutely. Trading top for bot. So in DFM's eyes, hey, that was a trade that we're really okay with. It meant Ebby could push this in. They're losing these minions in the bot side as well, which is just, hey, that's more to go into Detonation's pocket. Arya's already there to collect the top wave. We've got Utapon sitting here, and Ebby is now counter-jungling. Milan is also counter-jungling Kassin, or is it actually counter-jungling because the carries? And this isn't solo queue, so it's actually not counter-jungling. It's just working as a team. But hey, people don't always, people in solo queue don't appreciate it when the non-jungler starts taking the camps.
It's going to be Night Harvester on this Gragas as well. That's not a tank Gragas. That's not a chem tank Gragas. That is full AP damage Gragas, which is definitely an entertaining one. If Cassin can find the burst maybe this next time, instead of Turtle Stance plus Command Protect, he'll still be able to get through the damage there. Of course, it will be the Stride Breaker, I believe, in for Gnarl, looking to find some of those slows in the side lane. Definitely a fairly strong option. Ludens and Gale Force have been complete for Utapon for a while, but DFM are looking to go in on Cassin here. Crashdown did miss, though, so it's going to be a bit of a contest around this blue buff. Steel is here, might have to look and smite, but it's a 3v4, but here comes the rest of CGA, and Cassin wins the smite fight. Now, DFM not going to look for a fight right now, and for now, I think it'll be a bit of a down space. Both these turrets are pretty low in mid, so maybe we see a bit of a fight. Steel goes in, gets a stun onto Milan, who has to flash away. Alchemy now in the backline. Kazu very low, but a great magnet field buys time. Nation still gets the kill. They're flashing in onto Utapon, who goes up into the air, but it's not quick enough. Double kill for the solution, but Ariana gets one back onto Nap. It's a 1 for 2 right now, and Ebby is here, nearly at Mega, has teleported, well, hasn't teleported, just walked back in, and CGA find the skirmish in mid.
And that's a huge advantage yet again. It just seems to be
kills,
every time. Yeah, every time they keep playing, they just know how to do this. And Naehyung is unlocking a huge part of CGA's opportunity as Ebby just absolutely tries something. Admirable attempt, but
has to bet it's flashed.
got given a got told to come back another day, sir, as this is not what you're looking for. Tanking huge damage, and Naehyung in this fight is just everywhere and anywhere. 5 kills, as you already mentioned, huge damage coming out. Milan gets absolutely destroyed upon at the very beginning of this, but then they don't have much follow-up. DFM couldn't follow up. Milan does a great ultimate, just coming through huge members. Kazu basically dies alone to Milan's ultimate, and then they just get the follow-up. They do get to kill Nap, which, yes, that's very worthwhile for the side of Detonation FocusMe, but it's not enough. It's a consolation prize at the end of all of it. And Crest Gaming Act, if they keep finding these fights, these 5v5 fights like this, they're just going to slowly eke out more and more advantage. If they can get this next dragon and really force a kill, it's going to be far more in their favor. However, I think this next dragon is going to be a very important moment for Detonation FocusMe and their opportunities for the rest of this game.
I completely agree. You could see Kazu looked for something there and kind of died again. He's a bit squishy at 0-3. Not had the best game right now. Even if you see some of the ideas, it just really not worked out. And Steel went really deep for Milan. Wasn't in range to get the shockwave on top of him, which is the easy combo. Because you basically throw the ball on top of Udyr. He gets to just run the ball to them. You don't have to have someone charge. He literally runs the ball so fast they can't avoid it. But it wasn't quite quick enough. And now Nation is at 5-1. Has 2 items. Is at level 13. Joint highest in the game with the solo laners of DFM, so very scary, but he does, of course, still have to be a little bit careful. That's the culling down. Steel gets onto Cassin, looking to try and get as much damage out as he can. There's the shockwave that has to be flashed away from. Magnet Storm as well is burnt. That's a couple key ultimates actually burned from DFM, who were looking to try and get something before this dragon fight started. Now they're going to be down some really big ticket teamfight ults. Utapon will have Featherstorm at least available, likely at least in the next few seconds, but I wonder whether DFM feel comfortable to start this fight now they are down those 2 really critical teamfight ults.
Yeah, just look how quickly Nation's ultimate's coming up. The culling is already over halfway down, and the fight began all because of Nation actually doing that. Steel's trying again, but you're not going to be able to get at the dash, and as they're coming in, the teleport's coming around.
All right, there is Steel. He's got Retract Appel on top of him. Cassin knocks away. Steel secures that Infernal Soul point. But now Ebby, nearly at Meganar, looking for the big fight. Gets a wallop. Gets a walk. Nah! They're looking for the kill, but they can't quite get it because Alchemy is getting onto the backline. Utapon flash! Blade Caller gets one, but Nathan on the other side is running rampant. Gets the culling across the wall. That's a shutdown onto the Orianna. He gets another on top. A triple kill for Nation's Lucian. Can he get more? Steel and Kazu trying to get out. Not quite in range for the piercing light. The taunt misses too, and Kazu on this horse needs to run away very quickly. I think CGA might just secure Baron off the back of that, and Nation's Lucian is just incredible.
This man came in, and there were some questions around them. How well are they going to fare? Oh, well, Arya's been here for a while. He's definitely the best mid laner. Where will they slot in? He might be top 3. Yeah, it depends on the day. Some of the talent in the mid lane could be. No, he defies any and all expectations and goes, is this your best guy? Cool. I'm going to play Lucian and go 8-1. I'm going to solo kill him in lane. Naehyung is popping off and saying, hey, CGA, you know how you had a carry? I'm going to do it better this time around. What a statement coming from this lineup of CGA coming in against Crest Gaming Act. Kazu comes into the middle, tries to prevent that ultimate coming out from Milan, but watch what happens. Ebi immediately has to disengage and help the rest of his team because this backline is just getting absolutely crapped on in the back. And then Kasin is able to secure this dragon at the same time. Steel and Utapon just have to do anything and everything, but they can't find any form of opportunity in this fight. They're just always playing from a step behind. Neihyung is controlling so much of this, and the members of Crest Gaming Act are playing around him. 3.5k damage out from this Lucian, and he has control in the sense of every sense of the word. This is honestly a textbook performance.
If your AD carry is struggling in the bot lane, why not draft one into the mid lane? They've done it before, and Nation definitely looking damn good. And that was even after Ebi found a fantastic engage onto Milan, but they couldn't finish him off because Nap and Alchemy pull off that Camille Galio combo and get Utapon in a difficult position, and then Nation in that fractured fight gets to do what Lucian's does. And that's use Relentless Pursuit and Culling to chase people down. You can see it's a big advantage over the CGA right now in the AI bot, but game's not over yet. There's about a minute and a half of Baron buff, but CGA in a very strong position. Of course, maybe that changes if DFM can get a pick onto Nation, but that has proved very challenging this far in this game, because that Lucian is a terror.
We have seen Crest Gaming Act last split, or last season, where a member in the mid lane used to get incredibly fed. A member in the mid lane would try and carry games, but something would sometimes go wrong. Whether they would get a pick, whether they would get pulled away, whether something would just shut down and then the fight would be over because they got pulled upon. Neihyun is going to try and do anything and everything. The Culling's already down, and I imagine 4 members of DFM want to try and prevent too much of a push from happening.
Utapon definitely took a bit of a chunk there before someone could step in front of him. Steel doing the job that time, and it definitely cost them that top lane tier 2. Shove continues 20 seconds on, about 2,500 gold from this Baron, which is a nice job, and this gives CJ the first serious gold lead of the game.
This is really the first time that we're seeing CGA really pushing
Kaz is
the
going
advantage.
in. The Magnet Storm is huge. The Shockwave is massive as well, but Nation still got the kill. But the turnaround is a Utapon is running rampant. He's got Nation, and DFM find the fight. It is a 1-for-3. DFM Steel now stepping forward, looking for the stun. It happens, but it's well buffered out with the body slam. But Arya goes forward under the tower. Ebi as well. It's a double for Arya, and they go, you know what, Nation? You think you could come here and take this crown of best mid laner, best team from us? Try this on for size. What an engage!
Everything that DetonatioN FocusMe needed in this team fight. Kazu making up for that early gate sidestep that didn't quite work out. The Galio wasn't able to do anything, and that was combo wombo nation. Everything that DetonatioN FocusMe asked Crest Gaming Act, hey, we can do it better. What a fight to come into. This Rel Ultimate pretty single-handedly sets our DetonatioN FocusMe to win this. 1, 2, 4 members get thrown in. Huge thing. They try and use the Kasin to come and knock up. Oh my god, Ebi, that's just absurd. It knocks them all back. However, half of the members of DetonatioN FocusMe were then able to come in. They get the 3 kills there, and now they're just farming them as we go along, coming into this dragon. And the lead that Crest Gaming Act had, that 3.5k lead, decimated, gone, deleted, dragon over to DetonatioN FocusMe, and they look like they're looking for more kills.
And suddenly the gold is back in DFM's favor. That was before CGA got to reset. Got to spend all that beautiful gold they just earned. And now it's back to even, and that gold is no longer in their favor. Those items will no longer be in their favor. And DFM look like they can shove in and cause even more damage. CJ on the side looking to cause chaos. Ebi stepping forward, but he's nearly at Meganar. He wants this one. There's the transformation. Steel steps forward, and Nahyon can't get far enough away. Get slapped in the face. Tigers and bears. It's no lion, but a phoenix will do. And Steel gets that kill, Utapon gets the other, and Nation can't stay safe any longer.
No, Steel is just far too fast on this Udyr now. It doesn't matter how many dashes and flashes and everything else, which Nahon did use then. will mean you will die. He's got his dead man's plating. He's got the chem.
No, the
He's
shockwave misses, but he's still going in. There's the chem tank. There's Ebby in the backline. And Milan cannot run far enough away. Crash! Down goes Kazu. Nap causing some damage, trying to get out with the Hextech ultimatum, but Steel trying to speed up with the bear. Stands the wallop! The flash Q from Arya gets it with the command attack, and now it's Alchemy left against the world, and DFM will shove in with this wave to at least claim an inhibitor.
They will get an inhibitor here. Alchemy, be careful, sir. You don't want to step too far forward. Detonation FocusMe do have the damage to kill you. And now it's a 3k lead for Detonation FocusMe. This game was everything Crest Gaming Act wanted, and it's disappeared as quick as they had it.
Problem is, though, this Baron is now spawned, and there's a few health bars which could really use a top-up right now for DFM, and if CGA are quick out onto the map, they could definitely look to get onto the Baron. Cassin's going to interrupt the backs with the explosive cask as well, and that really will give them a lot of time.
Will definitely give them more time. I don't quite know if he needed to use the explosive casket. I think his Q was going to be good enough there, but hey, whatever. I'm not him there. They can do this, Baron. They're going for it. Yeah, they need to.
Back in base. It's going to be a 3v5 for a moment or two until Arya can get here. He's not got teleport. Ebby stepping forward, causing some damage, but Steel at least is around. That culling doesn't get a lot done. Steel out the backside. There is no explosive cast to get Steel out of the Baron. It's taken by Cassin in the 50-50, but it's very dangerous as Milan now goes down. But CGA get the Baron, get out. Nicely turned around there. And they will at least escape in the 50-50 with something to their name.
They got something out of it. DetonatioN is still incredibly powerful, remember? So removing this Baron was like child's play for this Lucian. But that's not what we've been playing around a lot. A lot of these last two team fights have been around this Dragon and Crest Gaming Act. They need to find a way of preventing Steel from actually doing exactly what he was drafted for. And that's running straight onto Milan, straight onto DetonatioN. Members of Crest Gaming Act need to now protect their carries, because if they don't, a bear man who is very angry and can transform into all his costumes of animal friends will come down hard. And that's what we saw for DetonatioN in that previous team fight. He just got ran down faster than he could have expected. 1 minute 40, we're going to be seeing this. Items are coming in thick and fast as Collector. It was finished for Milan just now.
Yeah, it's 3 items onto Utapon's Xayah as well. He's went for that Navori quick blade second to really get all his abilities up as often as possible. The Infinity Edge third as well. Steel now with the Tem Tank stepping forward, maybe trying to get onto Alchemy, but will get taunted out. Not a huge amount burned there, though, as Arya just heading back around this flank, maybe looking for something. But that's a flash in from Cassin. It's a huge pick on Terrell. Kazu is dead. Now, Ebby nearly at Mega Nod, but they've got to fight in the 4v5. The shockwave is big, but Steel now caught out in no man's land. It's a shutdown over to DetonatioN. Utapon flying back. The feathers nearly behind everyone, trying to get some damage down. That's a huge root, and Arya gets Cassin. It's now a 2-for-2. Alchemy needs to run away as Ebby in this Mega Nod steps forward, gets the wallop, gets the boulder toss, and DetonatioN's on 100, maybe less HP. Ebby gets Milan, and now DetonatioN will run away as Arya chases Alchemy out of the base towards his base, and it is in the end a 3-4-3 even fight between these players.
Remember, though, Crest Gaming Act have this Baron buff, and they were doing this Baron buff because they thought this was the opportunity we need. This is where we can actually get something from the side of Detonation FocusMe. We are the strongest we will be. If we give them more time, they will be stronger than us, and we need to do something before this as we come into this. Steel runs so deep into the enemy backline, and he's got no backup, gets taunted, just a quick little snap taunt. And now he's trying to find one of the carries. He goes straight onto Nap, who is not who he wants to go onto. And Kassin just completely throws Rel into the middle of everything. And this looks really good for the CGA. Steel's in the middle of backline. No one can help him. But Nap's mirrored him and done the exact same. Utapon, however, holds, gets a huge lockdown. And now, because he held for so long, the side of DFM is able to get something out of it. This is why Utapon is so respected. Unlucky for Ebby there not being able to get them. They do get Milan as a consolation prize, but hey, would have been nice to get that Lucian.
That is so unfortunate for Ebby. He gets the crit on the double up as it comes through. And of course, that plus Collector means he gets executed from a 3rd HP despite all the armor in his infantry. So he gets the kill for sure, but Milan there with a last gasp keeps that relatively even. But of course, DFM did get that in 3rd Infernal Drake. Are still very strong in this game. Arya gets attacked, but still steps forward, and Nathan can't get enough damage down. Now CGA need to hold on. They're still down this inhibitor in mid for another 30 seconds, but this game is damn close. DFM have got the gold lead, have got the shove in this bot lane, and hell, it feels like they've got a fairly strong team fight as well, but CGA have not without their teeth, and it's all on this Lucian. 10, 3, and 2 is the sole stellar member of this squad right now. Napa 1, 5, and 6 is not in the best space, only at the 2 items. Milan at least has got those 3 items, nearly at a 4, but he's died quite a lot, and that's always a bit frustrating. You can see the damage there. Utapon with the feathers, Ebby with the Gnar did so much work in that last team fight.
It really did. And if you remember rightly, Kazu got kind of CC locked, chained into death, and he didn't get to do much of anything in that last team fight.
No.
In a way, you could arguably say DetonatioN FocusMe beat CGA in a 4v5 where they already lost Kazu. Yeah, so imagine if they get to do another fight, this time with Kazu, and that's actually definitely on the cards for every future team fight, because Kazu is going to start getting incredibly tanky. He's got his own chem tank, he's got boots, he also, importantly, has a stopwatch. So even if Gragas, Kassim's Gragas is able to do exactly what happened last time, immediately, I guarantee you, it's going to be stopwatch into that magnetic field in the middle of Crest Gaming Act, and that's the last thing they want to see.
All right, well, we've got 50 seconds until this Baron, and CGA is starting to lose a little bit of control in their jungle. Ebby is shoving in the top side, but at least their inhibitor has respawned. A Nation now at 4.5 items is very, very strong on this Lucian, but he needs to stay alive. He needs not to get chunked out by Ebby running him down with the Thornmail and all this armor in his own infantry. It's getting tricky because, of course, they've drafted 2 AD carries plus a Camille, and yes, she's got true damage, but again, she is primarily AD damage, and yes, Cassian has 3 AP items, and he's not going to be doing bad AoE AP damage, but it's not a mid lane AP threat. It's not a top lane AP threat, which does make this job a little tricky for CJ in the late game with their composition.
It really does, and we've still got way over 2 minutes until we get this dragon up for the Dragon Soul fight, which is a guaranteed lock fight. Baron is coming up, well, now, and because of that, it means both these teams are going to be fighting very soon. 2 minutes on this dragon. And I can't imagine initialize we're going to be seeing anything else. So how do you think DFM have played this game as a whole?
Well, I'm not sure we're going to have a chance because Nathan's getting jumped on, but he does manage to dash far enough away to force Steel back. And it's going to get pretty close and tempestuous very soon. Mid lane prio definitely going to be the name of the game right now. CGA get the first shove and we'll start roaming towards the Baron pit. And that's how DFM have played it. Been a bit mixed, Lexi. Some of it's been really good. Some of it's been a little bit suspect. And part of that, of course, is Kazu having a bit of a rough game on this route. 0, 5, and 5 by far the least well-performing member of DFM right now. But on the other side, of course, CGA have had a pretty stellar performance out of Nation themselves, who was trying to hard carry them as Steel steps forward again, looking to burn some summoners, some ultimates best he can. Gets a taunt, gets something out as Kazu also stepping forward on the Iron Horse. And that's now priority for DFM, and they will step into the river to try and regain some vision control.
Yeah, because what's always going to be threatened by both these teams is the one that goes for the Baron means the other can go for the Dragon, or if you go for the Dragon, you go for the Baron. Normally, what's the thought process is it's always better to go for the Dragon, get the Dragon Soul because of the amount of raw power it gives you over time, as opposed to the burst power and opportunity that that Baron can give you. It looks like Ebby's looking for something.
He's got so much damage. That's not a tank. Gragas has to flash away. Kazu gets the Magnet Storm, but doesn't get that much. Alchemy now flashing out. Cassid stunned in place. The Shockwave gets so many, but Gragas kills off Rel, but it's Rel for Lucian. I take that every day of the week. Cassid falls as well, and now DFM get the feathers flying through so many. It's a triple for Utapon at the end of it all, and DFM have finally found the fight that will secure them the game.
Yeah, this is just everything. Steel not being a part of that at the very beginning, but being able to run through like from the back line all the way immediately to the front line. The moment that Arya landed the shockwave was so important because the fact that Steel was able to just dive, and a lot of the CC from the side of Crest Gaming Act had already been used, it didn't matter. Crest Gaming Act had to fall.
They did indeed. And DFM will come up victorious. But it was hard for Lexi.
It certainly was. Crest Gaming out, and especially Neihyung in this mid lane, said, no, we will not go down without a fight. However, the veterans still reign supreme. 3-0 Detonation FocusMe.
Yeah, of course, we're going to have to gather our thoughts, try and piece together some sort of narrative and some points to talk about, because that's a hell of a game to break down. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a couple of minutes to talk our way through it. See you in a moment or two.
Stands next to me, head in his hands, he tries to think of all he's lost, all that she was, reasons to live his life, reasons to breathe, and it's easy to see his side, not so easy to love. All of his days he's giving the better part of him. All of his life he'll live with the lesson she gave him.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the LJL OU Must One color commentator, initialize, play-by-play, and producer. 3 games down, sir. How are you doing so far?
Well, it's been an interesting one. That game took some years off my life because it was so back and forth. And where has this CGA squad come from? We had very low hopes for them, and they have been devastating thus far in the league, really taking it to some of our top teams.
Yeah, we expected this to be a team that would make playoffs.
Sure.
But we didn't know where they would make playoffs. They could have been 6th, they could have been 3rd. We didn't expect anything above that, but
I'll hold my hands up. I had them down at 7th. I genuinely thought, Jesters could be better than them. And in some ways, maybe they will, because the Jesters have been good too. But CGA are definitely doing some incredible stuff.
Well, and within that, also we didn't predict Axis to do so well, but they went to it. They're 2-2 as well. So thoughts be damned. Power rankings are always wrong, ladies and gentlemen. And who would have known such a thing? And coming into this game, we were pretty heavily favoring DetonatioN FocusMe. I didn't do our predictions because I think at the moment it goes without saying DetonatioN
Sure.
FocusMe are always going to be prediction. However, Crest Gaming Act's early game coming into this one initialized was just phenomenal, I think, to put it.
It was really clean. Part of it was some mistakes from DFM, so you could see early on that bot lane 2v2 kill went the favor of Milan and Alchemy, basically, because Kazu got, honestly, a really good engage out of Rel in the bush. It's what you do. You start the double, you crash down out of it, got onto Milan, got about half the health bar. That's nice. Then looking to continue trading, Kazu gets cocky, stepping forward, gets taunted. Alchemy walks behind him, Justice punches him. Easiest kill of your life, and that's just some of those errors you get from someone who's not quite at that pro level, not been there for a while, right? And like, it showed in this game because Kazu had a really rough time this game.
Yeah, he got the he gave over first blood and then ended up kind of because of his misplacement. I'm not gonna say anything else. He was just sadly in the wrong place at the wrong time. Milan and Alchemy were able to get the 2v2 kill over Kazu and Utapon, and obviously Utapon might have been able to pick something up if Kassin hadn't ran in. Maybe if Kassin was a little bit later, they actually would have got a kill on Utapon, but hey, that's not for here or there. They were able to accelerate that, and they were able to get a huge lead, weren't Crest Gaming Act, in this early game. They got multiple dragons, and it was just looking good for them.
Well, it wasn't just the kill in bot lane, because right after that, you see Kassin ends up top lane, and they get the kill onto Ebby. Steel's not almost there for the counter gank, but it's just too late, so they get that one. And then in mid lane, Nation gets level 6 just before Arya forces the flash, and then flashes himself just after to get the solo kill him in. So suddenly it's a kill in every lane. They get the early dragons, they've got the early gold lead, and it's looking fantastic for CGA.
Now, it does get traded back the gold lead at least. Not the kills, just gold to back into DetonatioN FocusMe's pocket because of that Rift Herald that they were able to secure the first one. Even when things were looking a little bit bad, Steel was farming very effectively and was able to actually get an advantage of about 20 CS in the early game over Kassin, who was playing around the map far more. They did get first turret because of that Rift Herald, and because of this, once they got the second Rift Herald, they were able to kind of keep things going, at least in a positive way for DFM. And their mid game, even when it came to losing kills, their gold was always there, wasn't it?
Yeah, they did manage to keep it relatively even, despite like Kazu in particular having a bit of a rough time of it. And there was this one particular play in mid where Nation had got one kill. It was a good kill, but he'd also died just after Steel turns it for a gank him. It's like, okay, pretty even. Then he gets gifted 2 kills because Kazu crashes down out of the way where he was body blocking Utapon. So Utapon falls down, and then it's this lone Rel who's just left under turret to die for a second kill to the solution. It's like, okay, at this point, Nations gets to start being an absolute monstrosity in this game. He ends up in double-digit kills and does his damn best to carry the game. It's just a bit of a shame that Nap kind of fell behind in the wave management game to Ebby, despite finding some decent Hex Tech ultimatums with the Galleon, that Milan was still struggling a little bit with some of his positioning.
I'm going to move you on to tell us about how that dragon fight went down around Crest Gaming Act when they were able to secure the dragon. They then get 3 kills. They then get a Baron. They then get a turret. They then get another turret. And it's looking like everything for Crest Gaming Act is coming up perfect. They're able to get to a 3.8k lead initialized.
Yeah, they do. Basically, you see the fight gets split up. Ebby gets Mega, tries to go on to Milan. And that is great. Cassin's already secured the dragon because he uses the explosive cast to not steal out. But the team's kind of split up. And then at the backside, you see Nap comes in, Galio comes in after, and Camille plus Galio is really frustrating. And Utapon does do well to get himself out of danger, but he burns a lot of stuff to do it. And all the while, Ebby's kind of left in no man's land and has to turn around instead of finishing at Milan. And Nation, in scattered fights on Lucian, gets to cull down 2, dash over the wall, and get a 3rd. It is stunning stuff out of Nation. And yeah, that is the power of Lucian around some of these fights. If it's not straight front to back, if it does get broken up, which is very easy to do, honestly, with a Camille and a Galio who can just split fights up very easily, the Lucian gets to run wild without people focusing him, and he gets a lot of kills. They get get the dragon, they get the Baron, they start shoving down the turrets, and it starts looking fantastic until
the moment that Kazu gets caught out by Kassin, they use multiple parts of their CC. We're including stuns here. We're including Galio Taunt. We're including Body Slam. We're including Galio Ult. We're including Leona. Misfortune Ult gets used only really on to Kazu. So much gets used onto Kazu, and then he's popped. He's dead. Wait a second. Crest Gaming Act had used everything. Detonation FocusMe identify this. Huge shockwave comes out from Arya. Steel runs down and is able to run through and find multiple members. Ebby lands a 2-man knockdown. And this whole time, Utapon is in the back line. Oh no, they might lose a member of Detonation FocusMe. They're all getting low. Wait, the man that hasn't done too much initialize, Utapon, who's just been throwing the feathers out constantly. Feathers fly ultimate, holds it, doesn't pull it back for so long, and then gets a 3-man stun up, prevents the members of Crest Gaming Act coming any further. And actually, what ended up happening is Detonation FocusMe get a 4-for-1, killing the Rel. And because of that, they're able to secure the dragon and the 3.8k lead that Crest Gaming Act had. And it looked like that was going to be the final nail in the coffin, really, for Detonation FocusMe. Actually wasn't. They get the final team fight, and it's perfect for them. And then because of this, they accelerate the game far more in their favor.
They do. I think there's also something to be said for, honestly, that there is this element of, how do we put this? DFM, despite being put behind, found some really great wombo combos. So Rel, honestly, had a bad game, but still find 1 or 2 really critical engagements. That one around the tier 2 in mid that turns it around, breaks the Baron siege, evens up the gold. The one that gets them the Baron. And another thing is, you watch Nap and Alchemy jump on Utapon so many times, and he survives so much. And the fact that, honestly, the Camille wasn't able to assassinate the Xayah multiple times was a problem. The fact that Milan wasn't really able to find the bullet times that really stuck was a problem. And bluntly, Steel ended up at a point where he could literally run forward and tank all this CC, and they couldn't kill him because there was so many AD threats. You just got to build full armor stacking, and it got really difficult until Arya lands a 2-man shockwave on both AD carries, and Nation's great, but he has not got the rest of the carries there really to back him up, unfortunately. And when both those guys die, it's kind of game over.
Yeah, and that's actually how the rest of the game really went. Crest Gaming Act did try, and they did get the get the Baron for a second time around. Normally, second Baron means, hey, you're probably going to win this game.
Yeah.
Sadly, they'd already given up their lead before they got the second Baron. If they hadn't if they hadn't engaged onto Kazu and done that fight, maybe things go very differently. Obviously, Detonation FocusMe accelerate this game, and Utapon really starts to come online with Arya as well. The front line plays perfectly, and Nahyun, who is trying so hard, who is flashing, dashing, and everything else. You can't run away from the Chem Tank. Well, the turbo chem tank. It's not just a chem tank, it's a turbo chem tank. Running into you every single time with the Dead Man's Play, and that's all she wrote. Initialize, we're going to talk far more about this game, I imagine, on our podcast, which if you're not subscribed to, you can find it on all major streaming platforms. Comes out every Thursday at 5 p.m. GMT. Also over on our YouTube, it also comes out live where we premiere it, and we sometimes watch it with other people. But Initialize, with us talking more about this in the future, let's stop dwelling on this game and get prepared for our final game of the day, and that is going to be Detonation FocusMe, still with a clean record of 3-0, facing off against the Hawks. And I think we've got a special guest coming in for this final cast.
I think we might. Well, we'll find out after that. We'll speak to you very, very soon. Stick around for that last game. We'll be here in a moment.
Oh yeah.